All right, you ready? Yes, sir. Let's do it. All right, everybody, welcome back to the second Friday segment of Hook the Line podcast. We are back with the best day of the week. It is Picks Day.
Go, baby.
Let's go, baby. We are dressed for the occasion. I am in my Captain Cash Me Out gear. Yes, I do own this. This was a Halloween costume, and I did think it was fitting for today to answer all questions.
I love it. I love it.
Yep. And then you just go back strictly business
Oh
after
yeah, we're
the
back.
Alabama pick and that Virginia pick last week, back with some more locks.
We're feeling good. I'm expecting a little bit better results. I want perfection, so we
Yep.
came in ready today.
That's what we strive for. I mean, by week 11 or 12, we'll probably be close to that perfection line, and then college football playoff time will come around and
Oh yeah,
script. We'll be given the script
it's
essentially.
only up from here.
Yeah. So how's your week been? Go ahead and I know big game last night, NFL, some MLB.
Yeah, yeah. MLB is I gotta watch just because I invested too many months, too many days into that sport. It's bittersweet to watch. Shout out a bunch of good games, a lot of game threes. Which is good for the sport, but after that was over, I tuned in at Thursday Night Football, placed a nice little parlay down, and I was just kind of just stabbed in the back. I had 49ers plus 8.5. Great read by me. Kyron Williams touchdown. Thought he was due. Scored two. Great. And then I thought this was going to be a lower scoring game with Mac Jones coming in and basically a second team offense playing against the Los Angeles Rams. Um, and it actually almost hit. I don't know if you were watching that.
I did.
Rams were driving there at the end. We were about to punch it in, but the Niners punched the ball out at 23-20. So all I really needed was a 49ers first down, and that's the $100 in the pocket. But no, that's exactly what didn't happen. They just did a bunch of draw plays, gave the ball back to the fucking Rams, and there goes my bet. So
The rest was history.
hoping to turn the ship back in my favor this weekend. But yeah, off to an interesting start to the weekend, I guess. How about you?
Yeah, no, same thing. Got burned. CMC, two touchdowns, a little bit ambitious. Should have done Kyron like you. Two touchdowns would have smacked.
Maybe
Uh,
we should consult
so-
each other before we we'll do a segment on Thursday Night Football next week or something.
Oh, 100%.
Actually, never mind. It's the Giants. Never mind. Bad idea. Bad idea.
It
Bad
is.
idea.
I
Bad
forgot
idea.
about that. It
Bad
is
idea. Bad idea.
Giants and the Eagles. So yeah, honestly,
Nope.
I'd let you go ahead and take those all the
Nope.
Giants unders and all the Eagles overs. Probably.
Forgot that there's no Thursday night game next week. My bad, guys. All right. Well, let's
Yeah,
keep
but
it
a good
moving.
overall, another good game. Honestly, the Thursday night games have been like somewhat weak, but also they turn out kind of fun.
Yeah, they've been kind of close, I guess. I mean, that Eagles first game was weird. The Packer game was all right, and then last week it was down to the wire, and this week it was down to the wire. So
Yeah.
I
How
don't
about
know.
Mac Jones, though? I mean, throwing up on the sideline, giving everything he has for the squad. He looked
Yeah,
like
I
he was about to
mean,
cry, but it's okay.
yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody expected them to really win that game. I thought it was going to be close. I was debating live betting the Rams after my under died, and I'm really glad I didn't because Kyron choked again on 4th and 1. But good product from the NFL on Thursday night. Looking forward to the weekend.
Yeah, and shout out Nick Damiano. So I had some big pickups on the waiver just to keep him from getting, Kendrick Bourne and some of those other guys. So shout out Nick. Good play with Demarcus Robinson. He really helped you out, 6.9 points. Just want to put that out there. Thanks,
Pretty
Nick.
foul. It's a pretty foul move, but got to do what you got to do, I
That's
guess.
what you got to do. Well, today we got pretty good ones for you. We're going to start out again with deep sea dogs. Last week we both hit with our deep sea dog. You obviously hit way, way more with getting the actual win with Virginia over Florida State. Mississippi State kept it close, took it to OT, so got me that spread. Couldn't pull out the win. But we're back again. I think this week's a lot harder. You got a lot bigger spreads kind of this week.
Yeah.
But once again, we're gonna be reaching way, way down there. I got on the captain fit. I'm driving the boat. I'm taking us fishing. Where are we going? Go ahead and lead us off. You're your deep sea dog first. Where are you fishing?
All right. Well, like you said, we're coming in hot, so a lot of pressure on my back coming into this week, and we're going to take it a step further. Virginia wasn't obviously it was a big shock that they came out and won the game, even to myself, but the spread wasn't crazy. It was still like around 6. And we're going to go even deeper in the bag here. Like you said, there's not really crazy big upset games, I guess you would say. A lot of ranked teams are playing ranked teams, I guess. But this week, I'm going to go over to the Big 12, the gross Big 12. And I'm looking at a team that burned me a few weeks back. And I'm kind of just doing this out of spite. And I don't really like this spot for them. And I'm going to go and ride with the Houston Cougars to take down the
Wow.
Texas Tech Red Raiders. I think this is just kind of a letdown spot for Tech. They've covered in every game this year. They've played really well. To be honest with you, it doesn't really look like Houston has a chance in this game, which is why I love it. They have a quarterback, Connor Weigman. I don't know if people know him, but he's a Texas
Damn.
A&M transfer. He's an
Yeah.
SEC transfer, right? He's played in big games. And this is the big. I mean, they did play Utah, but we're still early in Big 12 play. This is the Houston coming off a big win against Oregon State in OT on the road. They did beat Coach Prime earlier in the season. I just like the spot for 2-4-0 teams. Someone's got to come out 5-0, and I definitely like the spread with the Cougs. But it would be even better if we could get an outright win and keep the train rolling with our deep sea dogs.
Yeah, so what is that spread? Just let everybody know because I think it's a pretty big one.
Yeah, so it is an 11.5 spread, which I actually love. You're getting 2 scores in that spread, but the money line is plus 360. I mean, that's a pretty nice return, on your money.
Hmm.
If you guys are feeling daring, you would might want to sprinkle it. I mean, I didn't sprinkle it on UVA last week, and it burned me, I guess. So maybe I should, but definitely feel comfortable with the 11.5, and it would be honestly lovely if they could outright win. Probably boost them into the top 25.
Yeah, talk about some bang for your buck there. I mean, if that works out,
That's a value. That's a value play.
it's a huge value play. Also, I agree with you. I mean, Big 12, you just never know. That
It's
conference,
just gross. It's just gross.
yeah, I think one thing one week and then I learned something new and then there's a new favorite and Kansas State sucks again. It's just like
Right.
that's the only consistency I've seen so far is that Kansas State is pretty ass.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that's a deep, deep, deep
It's
sea
a
dog.
deeper dog for sure.
But I love it. I love it going to the Big
Let's
12.
hear it. Let's hear it, Cap. Let's hear your dog.
All right, we'll switch over to my dog. Obviously, I had Mississippi State last week. Rode with a team that had a very, very unsuccessful year last year. And Mississippi State, I think they had like some like two wins, maybe 3 wins. Um, I'm gonna one up myself and I'm gonna do something extremely stupid
Oh
that I
no,
did
he's not doing
for
it
a long
again.
time in college in person at this place. I'm gonna make a huge mistake, but I'm clinging on to a little bit of hope that I saw for my first 2 years of college, and a little bit of hope that Barry Odom and the Boilers bring to town.
What is that? Oh, it is. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. That's the Purdue flag right there, baby.
Let's
Give me the
go.
Boilers.
Gotta love it.
Give me the Boilers. 9.5. Illinois coming to town. Last time this team came into town, it was an OT game with the Boilers 1 win season. Actually, that was at Illinois even. So give me them at home. We got some close friends that'll be going to that game in West Lafayette. So I wish them the best of luck and I let them know I am riding with them this week. Normally they hate me because I'm not riding with them. This week they'll love me. I rode with Auburn last week, burned me. So I'm going to be an idiot again and I'm going to ride with another team that I do love in
Let's
the Purdue
go.
Makers. So,
Let's go. I love the start to the Odom era, to be honest with you. Not, I mean, has been great. We played some good teams though, so I
mm,
love some of the play calls we're running with some crazy like lateral plays and all that. I kind of just love it, to be honest with you.
mhm.
Hopefully we can take down the Illini because I mean I'm not a fan, so that would be lit for another deep sea dog to smack.
Yeah. So, I mean, once again, reaching way down, the spread is at 9.5 right now. I think it actually slightly is moving down as we speak to like 8.5. It's somewhere close there
Wow.
now. But I like Purdue to just go win this game. I think that if Purdue can eliminate the turnovers, especially in the red zone, from what I've seen, that passing attack isn't as bad as a lot of people think. And if they eliminate those turnovers, they have a shot to go toe to toe with anybody. Now, I think the defense is very suspect, but I also think Illinois' offense, I mean, what they showed against Indiana, obviously last week they played well, but it showed that they can be suspect at times. So I think that it's just a good spot for Purdue. I think Illinois coming off a big emotional win with a walk-off field goal,
Yep,
now traveling to West Lafayette, maybe an overlooked spot. Hopefully, they're a look-ahead spot, and Barry Odom's bringing some juice. So give me the
I
boy.
like it. I like it. And Illinois has Ohio State next week, so maybe we catch them lacking.
Huge, huge look-ahead spot. So yeah, no, I like the Boilers. I'm gonna be watching. I'm probably gonna look like an idiot at the end of the day because I did this one last time. The last time I did this with the Boilers was actually against Notre Dame last
Oh,
year.
oh wow. Okay.
If
Ooh,
anybody's been watching, that game was 66 to nothing.
yeah.
And
Ooh.
so I was
I
just,
remember leaving that game in the first quarter. I literally walked home in
yep.
the first quarter.
I stayed till halftime thinking that maybe there was hope, but there was none. So 0 points on the board. We love to see it. It's going to be
Oh,
better this year, though. I trust it. So I think
yeah, hopefully, man.
two good deep sea dogs there. I wish you the best of luck with your pick.
Likewise, sir.
And I think we
Captain.
both will be rooting for my pick as well, given that we do
Yeah, of course, of course,
success.
of course.
It's hard to have hope these days, but you got to have a little. You gotta have a little.
Always, always.
Yeah. All right. Well, that will conclude the deep sea dog segment. I'll put the standings up on the screen somewhere while we're doing that, so you guys can see where it is, and then we'll update those standings next week. But hopefully, I mean, if you guys tailed us last week, if you did just the spreads, you would have been 2-0. So tail us again. Maybe you'll get 4-0. We'll see. Looking hot there. Let's go and move on to the big storylines now. The slate obviously not as sexy, I'd say, as it was last week, but I think you've got some interesting games there. You've got some interesting storylines. You've got some bigger spreads that are going to be harder to predict. So from a betting standpoint, you know, it's probably looking about the same as last week. You had for football fans, they probably loved last week. For betting fans, I think you're going to like this week. So
Yes, indeed.
yeah, so let's go ahead and start off. We'll just go top. I think it's a noon game. I actually need to check that, but we'll just start with Kentucky going to Georgia. Georgia coming off the loss, obviously to Alabama, in which I do think they played well. Lost in a close one. Obviously, it's Alabama. So, and then Kentucky just, I said before the year, I think they're terrible. I think like they were going to be terrible, and then they lost last week to South Carolina by a lot. But interesting spot because Kentucky normally plays Georgia actually pretty well if you look back through the years. So we'll see. The spread is currently sitting at 19.5, the over under at a small 48.5. And go ahead and take us through that game. I think you've got some clips for us. Is that right?
Yeah, I'll just say a few words really quick. I mean, I think Georgia, they had a rough first half last week. Really came out of the gates really slow. There's not a. I'm not going to show this clip, but their Alabama's very first touchdown was they were running man to man. They had a few. It's like a slant concept. They had a slot in, and the outside guy in, and they just had the running back was wide open, like no linebacker even followed him. But it was Ty Simpson had like three guys open. Is basically what I was trying to say. But so they came out of the gates very slow, and then what I really like from them is their ability to kind of flip the switch at halftime. And I think Mike Bobo called a really good game at halftime, and Kirby made some good defensive adjustments. Ended up making that game close. Down to a 4th and 1, and a couple drop passes. So I think people are going to sway a little bit more Alabama's favor after that game, even though I don't think it's fully warranted because I think Georgia was right there. And we'll take a few looks at some of the clips that I was talking about. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Now we're into the second half. They're down 10. I think Alabama missed a field goal to start the half, so they got the momentum back. And this is kind of the play I loved from them because I don't know why, but for some reason they love this like inside zone play. It was killing me watching them all game. They would just hand the ball off to either their running back or Charlie Jones or whatever his name is. But this is a play I love because this is just getting your ball playmakers the ball in space, and they're gonna have 86 is gonna get the ball here, but they have Branch coming back on the other side to kind of hold the defense, which is really important to this play because it holds him, 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 right? So it gives you all this leverage for your linebacker or your offensive lineman to get into place and get a few blocks, right? Like he bit, and now you have all these guys set up for blocks in space, and this is just a huge explosive play and something you really didn't see much of in the first half, which I really think is going to be a huge point for them going forward, not only in this game but games ahead as well. This one is a post route from I believe it's this man. Alabama's playing a disguised Tampa 2, which means he's here, he's here, he's here, he's here. I think he's also in coverage. He might come, but he's this way and he's this way, right? So you're going to have the middle of the field wide open. And what I like from Gunner is he's actually proven to me that he's a huge plus in the pass game. He's got a great arm and is a really good deep ball thrower, which I really didn't know about him. And something to keep an eye on for this game. But watch how wide open this guy is. Perfect ball right on the face mask. This is going to be a touchdown, but it's not.
100%. Yeah.
And he drops it, right? Huge point in the game. Huge. One score game, down three, end of the third, right? You got to catch that ball. At least catch it, man. It doesn't have to be a touchdown, but catch it. And then this next play is something I really love as well because they're looking to get their best player, arguably the ball in space, in Zachariah Branch.
Mm-hmm.
And they use another play fake to kind of go there. They try to fake a wide screen pass to 32 out here just as a fake. You can see him jump, right? But it's really setting up Branch come back on this screen and have all these big guys
Look at those
push
lines.
the way for him, right? And he just drops it, man. All he needs, like, I don't know if this is on Gunner because Gunner kind of slings this. He's got a live arm, but I kind of like putting it on him, just get it to him quick and not have this guy come and make a play if you lollipop the ball. But if he makes this catch, right, he's blocking him, he's blocking him, he's blocking him. He's got a lot of space. Another explosive play, and it's 3rd and 9 right after that drop pass. This is huge. They go, end up punting, and they have that drive where they don't get the 4th and 1, and it ends up making all the difference in the game.
Yeah, I
But
actually
yeah,
agree with you on that clip though. The last one that we saw, I think Georgia overall, if you watch that game, played a really good game. And that last clip, I think that's something that it's just early enough in the season that you take the same play and they'll implement that later. Like we'll see the same
you're going to see that a lot more.
come later on,
That's what
whether it's SEC.
That's the strength. That's their strength right there. I think Gunner is actually a really good thrower too, is what I learned from that game. They got a lot of deep combinations that they can run with him, and then that'll open up that play like they had with Branch, where he's just going to have a lot of space to work with, and he's dangerous for sure. And especially, it's a great game for them to have Kentucky after that game because Kentucky, I mean, it's probably a lot lesser of an opponent that they're going to see the rest of the way. So just
Yeah,
to get just a little get right game for them that I like.
I totally agree. I guarantee we'll come back. If Georgia makes the SEC championship, we'll come back and we'll play a clip exactly like that play and they'll hit it for about 30, 40 yards.
Right.
See
But
that.
that's the strength of their offense for sure.
Yeah, I think then speaking on the other side of the ball, Kentucky's just been terrible. And like kind of going into this year, we kind of knew because Mark Stoops has that team kind of off the rails. I think he's kind of just quit on the job already. I'm surprised they aren't thinking about firing him. They probably should. But this team, like they haven't scored more than 2 touchdowns in 11 Power Four games. And that goes back all the way to last year. I think that trend will continue in this game because I don't expect it to change going to Georgia. I don't expect that trend to change. You've also got a redshirt freshman who threw 2 touchdowns, I think, last week and then threw 2 interceptions as well. The O line allowed 6 sacks last week. I mean, this is all against South Carolina, who, yes, has a decent defense, but you're talking about Georgia and South Carolina like if they allow what they allowed against South Carolina, I mean Georgia's going to run all over them, in my opinion.
Right.
So losing 35-13 against South Carolina, and then you've got Georgia coming off a loss. I think this is a terrible spot for Kentucky. I think Georgia showed a lot of promise and is going to want to get right and really take out a lot of anger on this Kentucky team. It's like when we watched growing up, every time Alabama, that dynasty with Nick Saban, would lose a game, you knew whoever they played next was getting the belt.
Oh yeah.
And this is one of those situations where I see Kentucky getting the belt. So Why don't you go ahead and give me your score prediction? This is at 19 and a half, over under 48 and a half. Just a reminder, as I said earlier. So,
Okay. All right. Well, so all things considered, after all we've talked about, I think this is a big get right spot for Georgia. I think they play pretty well, and we see a couple of new things added to their offense that is going to propel them into back into the top 2, 3 in the SEC. So I have Georgia winning 38-10. I think they cover pretty nice. I think they play a complete game, both offense, defense, special teams, and they really just, like you said, give the belt to Kentucky, who's been struggling this year, and kind of get back on track.
yeah, I agree. I don't think that Kentucky's going to have a get right spot this year. I think they're just going to continue. They're going to be similar to Mississippi State last year, just kind of getting it from everybody.
Yeah.
So I've got very similar to you. I think we're similar in this. I have 38-14. So I gave
Oh
Kentucky
wow. Okay. Pretty
4 more
close.
points. I have them getting those 2 touchdowns, but nothing more. So stick with the trend. Cover the spread 19. And I think this over is honestly like I don't know. The only reason I went, so you're actually hitting the under by half a point,
Oh yeah.
38-10, and then I'm hitting the over by about 4 points with 38-14. So I do think this go either way. I'm probably not going to touch the over under, but the one thing I will touch is that Georgia spread. So I think we can agree on that.
Yeah. If you're gonna responsibly gamble on this game, I think that's probably the side to be on.
I totally agree. All right. Well, yeah, I think that one's pretty straightforward. Obviously, like Kentucky's bad, Georgia's really good. And
Yeah.
now we'll move into the Big Ten. We'll move into a game that's also at noon. Is this big noon?
Yep.
Maybe
Big
get this.
noon snooze fest. Yeah.
Yep. Big noon snooze factor. You're going back to Michigan. Michigan already had a lot of tests. Wisconsin also had a lot of tests. Michigan passed or didn't pass their test, but passed it better than Wisconsin passed the test against Alabama. So you got two teams that really need a good win. I think
Yep.
it's a big game. Two struggling to say offenses and then two decent defenses. The spread is 17 and a half, which for the over under being 43 and a half is pretty big. Uh,
Yeah.
so go ahead and give me your rundown on Wisconsin at Michigan, noon kickoff.
Yeah. So both these teams are coming off a bye week, which is kind of important, I think. And I think we have two opposite sides of the spectrum here. I think Wisconsin has been playing awful these past few games since they started playing stronger opponents. And then Michigan kind of, I mean, they played pretty well against Nebraska. Had a few. It was a tough game to go on the road there and play in that environment. Um, but let's take a look at a couple of clips where I think show the how, or it's actually I only have one clip, but I'll show you what I mean when Michigan has found their offensive identity. All right, so this is actually a trick play, but what I want to preface first is Michigan did a great job this game getting the ball to the playmakers in space, kind of like I talked about with Branch. They really like to use their quarterback, uses legs. Bryce Underwood, 5-star recruit. Obviously, that's going to be the focal point of the offense. They have a really good running back, 22. And then they have a really good dynamic receiver in Samaj Morgan, number 0. So that's obviously their offensive identity, and they really found it this game against Nebraska. But what I think hurts them by doing that is they've now allowed Wisconsin, who's a good program historically, I know they've been tripped up this year a little bit, but now you're giving them a lot of film on you and what you're trying to do. And with a bye week, you're actually, leaving yourself a little bit vulnerable in terms of a game plan. So this is a play where they've been running these sweeps and tosses and screens with Samaj and Justice Haynes. So they're gonna kind of a triple auction here, but it ends up being just a swing because technically you have to honor Justice Haynes' inside zone, Bryce Underwood's legs, and then the swing to Samaj Morgan. But what I like from this play call is, right, you got all these guys coming to make the tackle, right, even him. But what that leaves is the receiver wide open for a potential throw. He ends up dropping it. But that's like a really creative play call, but that's now on film for Wisconsin to see, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
So those are things that, people might not think about when, thinking about predicting the game or how things might go. Is when you show a lot of things on film like that, teams can game plan for it, and which I think is maybe a spot where Wisconsin can gain a little bit of an edge on a big spread game. I really think that Michigan is a good complete football team, and I think that they're going to be pretty good going down the line. In terms of this game, I think that this is a really disgusting game to put on big noon kickoff. Like I know we saw that first Utah Texas Tech game. That was kind of what I'm kind of expecting here. Maybe a little bit of a snooze fest from the offenses. Um, Michigan, didn't really look great on defense against Nebraska, but they fundamentally have a great team, and Wisconsin's offense is terrible. So, final score prediction: I have Michigan taking the game 24-10. So I do have Wisconsin covering that large number, and I have the under because, like I said, both teams come off bye weeks. I think Wisconsin's able to put together a decent game plan, and yeah, I think that's a big number for that low of a total and what we should expect.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. You'll find out. I mean, I agree way more than you even think, honestly. But I'll talk about some of the keys that I saw and some of the things I found when I read some of the stats. So the turnovers for Wisconsin offense is going to be really, really hard to stop. Their QB has 5 touchdowns, but also 5 interceptions. And against a Michigan team that their strength, so you're talking strength on strength in this game. You've got Michigan run offense and Wisconsin's one strength, in my opinion, which is a good strength, but they don't have much else is the run defense. So it's very good. So you got strength on strength. So this is just going to be one of those, I agree with you, grudgy games. I think this game is actually the first half is going to go by extremely fast. I think there's going to be a lot of clock chewed up, a lot of run ball, a lot of grind it out, try to beat the other person down. But at the end of the day, if you're talking strength on strength and you're taking Michigan's run offense and Wisconsin's run defense, like who are you taking in that?
Um, Probably Michigan, but
Yeah, probably in my opinion too, probably Michigan. It can be close, but I say that for strength on strength, if their best strength is beating your best strength, you're gonna have a hard time to win the football game.
right,
So I've got Michigan's run offense really taking it to them. Wisconsin's offense also non-explosive plays. Like they are one of the worst in the country at explosive plays. And that's kind of what you need against a Michigan defense that wants to push up on you and kind of bring the safeties down and crowd the box and make you play underneath. You need something to stretch the field, to go vertical. Wisconsin's been very bad at that. Their offense looks really stagnant. 10 points against Alabama. I think they had 10 points even last week again. And Michigan's defense, we know, is going to be solid. So, for those reasons and many more, as well as they've allowed 13 sacks in the last 2 games, I'm going to do the same thing as you. I'm going 24-10, literally same score on the dot.
wow,
Michigan beats Wisconsin, and I also think the under, and I think this is a very, very good under to take because I don't see Wisconsin's team putting up many points, and Michigan just plays a style that even if they play their best ball, they're not going to put up a ton of points unless they break like 70-yard runs, 60
right.
runs. So I like it as well. I think we're on the same page with that. Big noon kickoff.
Yeah, those are two good noon games, I guess. Start the slate. I mean, two big spreads for our gamblers. Should see two sides of the spectrum, honestly, in terms of Georgia and Michigan. Hopefully, Georgia can put together some explosive plays, and hopefully, Wisconsin can limit Michigan's.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. But yeah, I think a bit of a snooze fest there. I think if I'm throwing on a noon game, I'm gonna throw on a little bit of Georgia, but I think both those are kind of just warm ups for the main events. Which one of the main events we'll move on to now? Probably biggest storyline. Actually, given Texas, Florida, that's also. But one of the biggest storylines, I guess, biggest storyline last year was Alabama going to Vanderbilt. Same spot, by the way, just coming off beating Georgia at home, and then you go play Vanderbilt and shock of the century for everybody. 40-35, Vanderbilt carries the goalpost down Broadway, beats Alabama, kind of stamps their name on the world. And now, I mean, I never thought I'd live in a world where a team like Alabama has to seriously consider a team like Vanderbilt coming to their place. And that's
Right.
what's happened now. So it's a bit shocking to me. And I think everything in everyone's nature is going to say, take Alabama. But you can't discount this Vandy team. This Vandy team is very good. They're number one currently in points per game in the country. Their offense, I mean, they put up 70 against Georgia State. They put up, I think, something like 48 against Utah State last week. So not big opponents, but they also pummeled South Carolina and Virginia Tech, which are two Power Four teams. So you got to take them seriously. On the other side, Alabama just beat Georgia. So kind of sticky spot here for both. Go ahead and give me your rundown on it.
So yeah, good points. I think that this Vandy team could quietly be slept on. Obviously, the track record they hold in the past years are not great. Big win last year against this team. I'm a big Diego Pavia fan. I don't know what it is. I just think he's, a pretty good quarterback. And I think this offense is really made for him to thrive. And there's a lot of good artistry within the offensive scheme and play calls. I'll actually show you a few right now. Okay. This is the first example. They're in pistol, they're in 12, or they're in 22 personnel, excuse me. That just means two running backs, two tight ends. And they got a bunch of things going on here. This is essentially a triple option. They're going to have the running back crash, right? Fake the handoff, and he's reading him. So what's going to happen is he's then going to come back out this way, and now he's got two options. He can hand it off to him, which he doesn't do. He keeps it, and then he just tosses it out wide. And he's got a lot of space to work with into the boundary, and that's a explosive run play for a first down. All right, next play, back in pistol. They added a few more receivers to the mix, but I just love this design because you're able to do so many things when you have all these things going on. Linebackers read the pulling guards and think that this ball's coming right here, when in reality, they have a receiver that nobody sees is fully coming the opposite way and pitches it back. And what I love to see is our boy Diego hustling downfield and then laying a huge block. Look at this. Boom.
I love it. I love it.
And that's a first down. Another explosive play. Like, tell me you could even see this coming. Who in their right mind would pull guards and then have a wide receiver come all the way back
And your
and have
lead
it?
blocker is your quarterback.
Like, this is insane. I have never seen this play call my whole life, right? That's super hard to prepare for. I granted it's on film for Alabama to see, but there's both of those plays that I just showed are really hard to prepare for and really hard to
Before
predict
before
when
you
they're coming.
exit before you exit this play, I just want you to go to the guard that actually or the tackle that pulls around, or maybe it is the guard. It is the guard that pulls around to the side that they run the ball, and just watch how he could so easily take this block, and Pavia is like absolutely
Yeah,
not.
he's Pavia, and he's like, oh, you got it, Q.
But this
Bam.
is crazy to put your running back or your quarterback as almost a fullback in
I
the
love it.
game. And
I
I
love
don't
it.
think that was designed. I think it was designed for that guard to take out that corner. And Pavi is just like, I got him. Don't worry. Keep pushing to the next level.
You just love to see that. That's gritty. He puts his head like this is he's putting his head down into his head. Like I've seen a number of people get concussed off this play, and he does not care.
Yep. No,
First down, explosive play. Gotta love this Vandy offense. After watching this, watching a few games back, I really like the way Vanderbilt has constructed their offense and has been playing. Um, I think we're getting Alabama in a good spot. They've come back and put the beating on Georgia. I mean, obviously it was a close game, but they looked really good. Ty Simpson played well, and I don't know. I think Vandy's going to give that defense hell, and it's going to look a lot different from a Georgia offense that was running a lot of inside zones, the stuff that we talked about that wasn't really putting a lot of trickery and a lot of pressure on them. So I'm gonna think Vandy keeps this one close. I think I got the final at Alabama taking them down at 31-24. So I do have Vandy keeping it within the number. What is the over under? Is that
55 and a half.
Oh,
So
so I have it right at 55. I guess you can lean to the under there if you want. A little risky. I do like the Vandy plus the 10.5 though.
yeah. So I agree a little bit. I'm gonna lean the over, but I agree that this one, I think Vanderbilt's gonna be able to put up points. My questions all kind of reside with the Vandy defense
Yeah.
and trying to stop Ty Simpson, who does look like I know Kirby came out and said it last week, the hottest quarterback in the country, and maybe that's a stretch, but he's got 1,100 yards this year and 11 touchdowns and zero interceptions, which the big number is zero, especially against Vanderbilt last year. The way that Vanderbilt was able to win that game is that they were able to get some freak turnovers against Jalen Milroe in that offense, and they were able to steal some points.
Right.
They can't steal points, especially on the road. They're going to have a hard time slowing down this offense. So I still think they'll put up a good number, and against a lot of teams, a number that may be able to win you a football game or keep you close enough to win you a football game. I just think it's going to be really hard with this Alabama offense. The way they looked, I also think that last year Vandy surprised Alabama. Obviously, they surprised all of us. They're not, Vandy's not surprising anyone this year. They're obviously not surprising the AP voters. They're 16. They're not surprising any team in the country. The problem with that is Diego Pavia doesn't seem to give a shit whether somebody is going to get surprised by him or he's an underdog or whether he's a favorite. I think he's going to keep that same mentality that like everyone's doubting him, even though they're probably not. So I do love the guy. I love Diego Pavia. Also, Vanderbilt in time of possession is 38 over 38 minutes per game in time of
Wow.
possession, which is top five, which if you do want to win a game like this, so that's something maybe to think about for leaning the under. I did take the over, I'll say, but leaning the under, the fact that Vandy, if they can play the way they want to, they'll take up most of the clock. They're top five in time of possession. Their third down rate is over 60%. So that offense has been clicking. The problem comes with the defense, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think Alabama just, if you're Alabama, you can't let Vandy get you. And you got to put a statement down to the world to like put them back in their place because this has been the running joke for the entire year is Vandy playing in Alabama and like what if, oh my God. And the fact that it's a serious conversation, you got to shut those people up. And I mean, Florida State, you had a quarterback that talked a big game and you said that it would be addressed accordingly and it was not addressed accordingly because you lost. Now you've got Diego Pavia, who knows what's coming out of his mouth. He's saying everything under the sun. You got to address this accordingly. Will they step up to the plate? In my opinion, I think they do. I think that win over Georgia brought them back on. I think maybe if they didn't lose to Florida State week one, I'd see this as a drop spot. I have Alabama winning pretty comfortably, 45 to 27. I think Vanderbilt
Mm.
puts up some points. I do have Alabama covering that, although I think I'm probably going to stay away from this game and just sit back and watch Diego Pavia prove me wrong because that's what he's best at.
It's going to be a good game. I think Alabama's clicking right now, and I think that Pavia has that underdog edge to him. I think he comes in and plays a good game. I think what's important to note is maybe Kirby Smart did kind of adjust his defense in the second half. I know you touched on it earlier. And maybe he could have given Vandy a little bit of a blueprint. They kind of shifted to more of a man coverage with a middle field robber against Ty Simpson. That seemed to work. I know, granted, it's the Georgia defense versus the Vandy defense, but you can't really blitz Ty Simpson because then he's just going to get the ball out quick to Ryan Williams and all those other playmakers. So there is a little bit of a blueprint. So maybe that plays a factor, but who knows? We'll see. It's Alabama and Tuscaloosa, so hey, can't count them out.
I love this game though. I'm gonna probably watch this entire game full screen.
Yeah,
I think it's just gonna be fun watching Diego Pavia go to battle. And my favorite thing is that even if Alabama goes up big, you know that this Vanderbilt team and Diego Pavia in general is going to keep coming after them. It's not gonna get too out of hand. I think at any point Alabama's gonna have to keep the foot on the gas.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
all right. Well, yeah, really excited for that game. Let's then move to a game with, I know I said a big storyline for Vanderbilt, Alabama. I think this one's big from preseason hype to kind of let down to get back spot for both, where you really need the offense to start clicking. Let's go the Texas Longhorns at the Florida Gators in the swamp. I'm not sure if this is at night. I actually
3:30, 3:30.
3:30, so afternoon. So kind of fourth quarter, we'll get around nighttime swamp action. Really hard place to play, but you've got Arch Manning, DJ Lagway. It's kind of a race to who's going to figure it out first. Two really good defenses, so it's time for someone to step up. One of the two's got to step up. All right, well, who do you think gets it done?
Yeah, this is an interesting one because I mean both of these teams have not lived up to expectations. Arch had a rough start, kind of. They played Sam Houston last week. They played pretty well, 55-0, but that's Sam Houston. Lagway has struggled big time, had a terrible game against LSU, didn't really play that great against Miami. But now he gets a chance to go home and host the Longhorns. And I really think this is a decent Florida defense. I thought they played at least up to maybe a little bit around expectations. I think that they could maybe have a chance at turning Arch around, but they do a couple things good. Let's take a look really quick. All right, so this is a clip from them against LSU. I think this actually was a decent performance. Probably could have played better, but it doesn't really help when your quarterback throws 5 interceptions. What I like is I think their pass rush is actually decent. They get a lot of pressure and force mistakes. This is 100% on Nussmeier, but this is criminally a hold, and that could have been a sack. This is third and long. I so like, granted, it's you're knowing you're passing, so you get a little bit of an edge as a pass rusher, but they really clamp on the back end here. If you really look at it, he could have got the ball out sooner, maybe had this in route, but that you do have the safety coming down and break it. And he probably should have got sacked there. They end up calling that hold. And they actually end up getting an interception on this play. But like I said, this is completely on Nussmeier. As you can see, he just fully gifts the defense there. But I think they're going to be able to simulate pressure on Arch, given the history that's already out there this year from Ohio State, being able to kind of make him struggle a little bit. I think that they're going to use some of Matt Patricia's tendencies to maybe throw him off a little bit, especially after getting back on track. But this is Arch Manning we're talking about here. He was a high recruit for a reason, so I think he's able to put some decent drives together. So, I mean, I think that this is actually going to be a close game. I think the spread's at, what is it, 5.5,
Yeah,
6?
it moved up to 5.5 from 4.5.
Oh, really? Okay.
Morning.
Wow.
It's five.
Tough place to play. I know you touched on it. The Swamp's not an easy place to walk into. I think Florida's coming back home after a rough few games on schedule. I have this game close. I do think I think the over under is like crazy low for a college game. Isn't it like 41 or something?
Yeah, it's at 42.5. So yeah, pretty.
42. That is nuts. That is super low for a college game. I actually agree with that line. I did have it going pretty low scoring. I have Texas winning 23-20. So I do think that this defense is able to keep it close, throw a few confusing schemes at Arch. But in the end, I don't think Lagway is built to beat a Texas defense at their caliber. And I think Arch gets back in the win column and a statement win in the swamp.
I like it. I like it. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. It's a tricky one to predict. You've got two good defenses. We're just kind of rolling on the same page today, though. I mean,
Wow.
this is the closest we've ever been, and I actually have it pretty similar to you. I'll get into it in a second, but yeah, I think 42 is a crazy under. But I also think that if you really look at the game and you've got the two good defenses and you got two struggling quarterbacks, like Texas, I think is a national championship caliber defense. Like I think we all can agree on that. They have Anthony Hill Jr. They have dogs all around the field. And I actually want to point out one stat in particular that leads to me predicting my winner of this, and it is stop rate. So stop rate is essentially drives without letting up any points in the country. Texas is number one currently in stop rate. Ohio State last year was number one in the country in stop rate. They won the national championship. And five out of the six top teams in stop rate last year made the college football playoffs. So I believe in that Texas defense. Arch just has to figure it out, which I think he will. I think he has the capability. I think he's just taking a while to catch up to speed, but I think he'll get there. DJ Lagway, on the other hand, against the defense. I mean, I saw what LSU did to him, what Texas is going to dial up in that team. I mean, good luck with that. I still think he's going to do better than he has. I think he's going to learn. We saw him on the back end of last year be able to string some results together. But I think the swamp is the only thing that really keeps Florida really, really close in this game. And so I think it'll be very similar to LSU, maybe like, a very close score, very grudgy game, stuff like that. It's going to come down to turnovers. Is Arch going to turn the ball over? Is DJ Lagway going to turn the ball over? But at the end of the day, I have Texas coming out on top, 20-17
Mm.
overtime. I have
Mm.
this game going to over. I'm going to predict that this game is going to be 17-17 going to overtime. I think Texas hits a field goal, and then Florida can't score on that Texas defense. That stop rate comes down to the wire and comes in clutch. So I have 20-17 Texas. That does lean the under. That is not saying that I'm confident about the under. It's like a very, I think Vegas did a very good job setting the over under on this game. I think that's a very good line because originally I had Texas 21, Florida 20, and I changed it this morning, so that would have been 41.
Mm.
I changed it to 2017 in overtime. But yeah, I've got Florida covering that 5.5 and the under and 20-17 to the Texas Longhorns and Arch Manning.
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to come down if DJ Lagway can take care of the football. I mean, if I was on the Florida coaching staff, that would be my number one priority. Is listen, hey man, can you just maybe spare us a few possessions and just keep the ball in our hands? Like that's the only way they can really keep this game close. Put some pressure on Texas. This is my least favorite game on the slate. I couldn't tell you what's going to happen in this game. So don't if you're out there, believing in me and my predictions, if you're gonna lay off one of them, this would probably be it. I really don't know what's going on here. Hopefully, Arch is gonna get back in a rhythm. I really like the kid. Played baseball against him in Cooperstown. A little fun fact: when I was 12, I slapped his hand in the handshake line, told him go Giants. I'm a big fan of his uncle. It's kind of a weird move by me looking back, but didn't really know what to do in the moment. But yeah, I'm rooting for him. I'll probably have Vandy and Alabama on my television, but I'll be checking the noties every now and then of this game for sure.
Yeah, I think this is a good what we call a fourth quarter game, a fourth quarter watch.
Yeah,
This game I'm going to turn on in the fourth quarter and it'll probably get exciting because plays are going to start to matter. But it's going to come down. Somebody's going to make a mistake late, whether it's Arch or DJ Lagway, and that's what it's going to come down to. So
agreed.
I'm excited to see. Hopefully one of them can take flight because both those guys I think are actually very good football players. They've just had some unfortunate bounce backs. Obviously, DJ Lagway probably is more glaring right now than Arch, but
Yeah,
I wish them both success, and I hope we get to see that. I just think with these defenses, you're giving them a tall order to
yeah,
go.
exactly. I agree.
All right. Well, with that being said, we'll go into our night game. Is this college game day or no?
Oh, actually, I have no idea what game day is. Is
I
it?
don't know where. I don't think they would have gone because they went to Miami last week, so I'm not sure if they're going to do another ACC game. It's got to be Texas, Florida, probably, right?
It's Alabama Vanderbilt.
Oh, it's Alabama, Vanderbilt. Wow, I didn't
Wow.
actually know that until today.
Theo Vaughn is the guest picker. I just Googled it.
Oh, I love that. Well, he talked about taking Diego Pavia's mom on a date. I don't know if you saw that. That
Oh boy. Oh right.
they
Yeah.
had that
Oof.
they had that bet. Well, no, it was the last game, and it was like if Vanderbilt won against South Carolina or something, then Theo Vaughn would be allowed to take Diego Pavia's mom out for a date. I think there was some other caveat that came in there, but he posted on his Twitter. He was like, "Where should I take her?" with a picture of
That's
his
hilarious.
mom.
All right.
So I love what they've got over there, but that'll be fun. This one I think is going to be a thriller. You've got two high flying offenses. You've got Florida State in a weird spot, having lost to Virginia. Now you come back home, kind of redemption. Last time you were home in a big game, you showed up in a big way against Alabama. Now you host Miami, you host Carson Beck. Miami's looked like a machine so far. It doesn't show hasn't shown that anyone can really stop them. Like even Florida with that good defense they have, it still was like 26-7. So I like Miami's offense a lot. I like Florida State's offense a lot. It's kind of just going to be who has the ball at the end, who can get that one score. So right now, line is -4.5 Miami, and the over under is 54.5. So they kind of agree it's going to be a high scoring one.
Yeah, this is an interesting game, especially for me after picking against Florida State last week. I think I really like this team after watching being glued to that TV that Friday night. I think that there were obviously some goods and some bads. I think that Castellanos is still a great quarterback. He made a crazy play there at the end of the game last week, but couldn't come out on top. And I think that there's really an emergence that we're watching that I don't think people are realizing. Because when I was watching this game, I was like, who the hell is this guy? Deuce Robinson is insane. I think that guy is going to be a problem not only for Miami but teams to come. I think that is so big for them to have a guy like that to go to on third down in the red zone, right? When you already have a dynamic run game and a quarterback that can use his legs at any time, you add that into the mix, and it's like, whoa, like it's kind of like the Eagles getting AJ Brown or like something like that. You know what I mean? Let's say I'm. Let's see what I'm referring to. What I'm talking about. So this guy is a monster. He really showed up big in this game and really made me start to sweat when I was watching this game as Virginia was my deep sea dog because this guy was catching everything and there really wasn't anything they could do except put two guys on him. And he's not only has he have this huge frame, but he's an incredible route runner. Like he just a little hezzy right there, makes the corner sit, and now he's got to step, even makes him fall,
Holy cow.
and he's wide open. Look at him, everyone, hit him, hit him, hit him, pointing at him. All Castellanos has to do is just put up a nice ball. He even has to go in the air for it, but there's nothing you can do. You got two guys there, and you barely move him. First down. It's things like that where it just adds so much to an offense like that. And I don't think Miami has crazy good secondary enough to battle that. So I think that's something to watch for them. So when you add something like that, and I think they really found that. I don't know, I didn't really know about him before that game until I really watched that. But he went off that game. I think that he should be a focal point against a Miami team who's probably going to be focused in on Castellanos and his legs and how to get to him. So when you have an outlet like that, that's really important. So in terms of final score predictions, I have Florida State winning the football game. Right, I have them taking down an overrated Miami team. When I say overrated, I don't mean like, oh, they shouldn't be ranked or anything. I just think they're somewhere in between 6 and 10. Three right now is probably, makes sense, but I don't think they should stay there or will stay there. The ACC has no business having a top three team in the league right now, especially after Clemson's fall off. So I have Florida State winning the football game 27-24. I think that Castellanos bounces back, get a big game from Deuce Robinson, and Carson Beck sucks. So there we go.
What a pick. What a pick. So you've got the upset.
That's my staple. Alabama last week. I guess this is my staple this week.
Yep. I mean, we'll see if you go 2 for 2 on Staples. I mean, that's a great pick. I do love the Florida State spot with the points here. I mean, I'm gonna take the points as well, actually. Plus four, I think 4.5 is just I think this game will be decided by a field goal.
Yep.
Anything more than that.
Exactly like Alabama Georgia last week. I don't see this game getting over three on either way. So if
Yeah.
yeah, plus the four is definitely a
Oh, you've got two
possible.
star-studded rosters, right? Like you've got like Mike Norvell and Mario Cristobal, known recruiters. You've got 5 stars all around the field, and two teams that kind of just still have question marks. I mean, Miami's probably proved a little bit more than Florida State has, but Florida State has that signature win. Plus, we know that home environment is up there with top 10, like in Florida State. When they're rocking and that team's good, it's going to be nuts down there at night, especially against Miami, like in-state rival. This game is going to be fireworks, I think, from start to finish. Um, and I think what I look at kind of in this game is just FSU's offense, and you kind of alluded to it with Deuce Robinson. He kind of reminds me of when I think it was FSU, FSU's Keon Coleman, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a similar situation where they've got a wide receiver where they can kind of bail him out in a situation on a 3rd and 10. It's like you look at him, you go to him, he'll make a play for you, he'll get
Yep.
you the yards. They're gonna have design plays for him throughout the game. So this could be one of those like, like you said, Deuce Route. I think Keon Coleman had a 3 touchdown game when he played when I was watching him, and it was kind of his coming out party. We could see a Deuce Robinson coming out party against what you said already is a weaker Miami secondary. I do think that front seven from Miami is going to be able to get to the quarterback, and I think they're going to make Castellanos run. He can use his legs though, which is like
Yep.
a big thing. He's not Carson Beck who's sticking in the pocket. So I think the key for Florida State in this game is if you can get pressure on Carson Beck, he's not the biggest runner in the world. He's not the greatest thrower under duress, whether he's running to the right or running to the left. He's good in the pocket under pressure, but if you can make him get outside the pocket and try to beat you with his legs or play action, stuff like that, I think you're going to have success. My bet, if I'm taking one, any in this game, is Florida State plus the points. I think that's just too many, but I am going to have Miami with a game-winning field goal, 34 to 31. So I've got a pretty high-flying one. But I'm going to love to see these two offenses go at it. I
Hmm.
just think Miami, at the end of the day, I do believe in Carson Beck as much as people are going to say whatever. I believe in Carson Beck. I believe in that offense. I think he came here for a reason, and I think they are maybe starting to enter that, college football playoff, national championship contender conversation. And I think they can prove it in this game. But I think it could go either way. I think either way, I'm either taking Florida State to win or the points. I have Miami winning, but I'm more comfortable with the plus 4.5.
I agree. I like that pick as well. This game should stay within 4 points. I think that's a key number right there. Either way, I think these are two of the top teams in the ACC. We should see these guys later on in the year talking about them when we're recapping the playoff bracket. Yeah, like I said last week with Bama and Georgia, I really don't see this game going over 4 points. So I'm gonna go with another bold upset, and I think this is just a really good get right spot, not a get right spot, but a bounce back spot from Florida State after losing the ACC opener, going back home to Tallahassee and hosting a team that really hasn't faced or hasn't had to struggle yet. You know what I mean? Obviously, they got out early on Notre Dame. Notre Dame fought back a little bit, and then they played Lag away and USF. So I mean, I think this is just a tough ACC opener for Miami because of Florida State's already decent track record. I know they lost last week, but they took down Ty Simpson, who looks good. Um, and that game went to overtime last week, so it wasn't like they got dominated. So
Yeah, I think the key is they're going to be able to put up points. Whenever Miami answers, I think Florida State has the ability to answer back. So I think we're just going to see blows trading back and forth, kind of who has the ball at the end. So they could swing either way. But
I
we
agree. I agree.
um, all right, so that's the last marquee game for this. I think we feel comfortable. Those predictions are locked in. They'll be up there on our Twitter. We'll put both of our list of predictions, and then we'll move now into talking about some of our best bets and games that we just think are locks. Last week I had South Carolina minus 5.5 on here. They ended up blowing out that game. And then I had Mississippi State on here as well. So these are just some other games that we have in here that aren't the marquee games maybe to look out for some of you a little bit more degenerate bettors who are looking for things to place on games that maybe aren't on everybody's radar as much.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna go three down the line, and I'm kind of gonna cover each window. I've got the noon, 3:30, and the late night, and I'll also throw in a few other ones that I'll lean towards. And they're all going to come from these games that we just talked about. I really like Wisco plus the 17 and a half. I think that's a great bet. If you really don't love that or you don't agree with me, Georgia minus the 20 and a half is also a strong bet right there. And then in terms of the 3:30, I really do like that Vandy plus 10 and a half. I think they keep it within that. Giving Vandy two scores is kind of a gift in an SEC game. I don't know. I just got something weird about that, and we kind of talked on it earlier. And then late night, you could ride with my deep sea dog, take the Houston plus the 11 and a half. But I also really do like that Florida State plus 4.5. I'm riding with a lot of dogs if you have caught on, but that's who I like. In terms of leans, I really do think that Minnesota keeps it kind of close against Ohio State. I know that's kind of a weird one, kind of weird by me, but that's only a lean. You don't have to take it with me. I just think that Ohio State saves a little bit on offense for Illinois next week and keeps it within Minnesota. The Ghosts are able to keep it within 23 points. Um, yeah, I'll leave it at that. I mean, I don't need to give out too many picks, but
Mhm.
I'm
Yep.
riding with my score predictions, and hopefully we can win some cash with Captain Cash Out.
Yep. Captain Cash out. Let's go. Cash me out. Um, so yeah, I'll go through. I'll do the same thing. I like all those picks. I do like Minnesota. I think they're in a really good spot there over there. I think that team's underrated. But I'm gonna go three games that we didn't talk about. And I'm finally this like this should not burn me again because I think I've done it like twice now this season. But I'm gonna do Clemson against UNC. Like
Oof.
the spread is 13 and a half, but I've just been waiting for them to criminally underrate Clemson. And yes, Clemson has not looked good this season, but like that roster you cannot deny. And UNC, on the other hand, even if it's not Clemson, UNC has just looked utterly terrible. Like, let me see if I can find so they lost to TCU the opener 48 to 14, and then they lost to UCF last week 34 to 9, who Kansas State with their terrible self beat. Uh so yeah, I think UNC is not very good at all. I think Clemson has too good of a roster and is going to come in just angry, ready to play. So I'm taking 13 and a half there, taking them to win by 2 touchdowns. Second one, I've got Baylor minus 5.5 against K-State. Like I said, K-State is awful. I don't believe in Avery Johnson. I don't believe in Kansas State anymore. I'd also be willing to take the over of that game. I think the Big 12 just loves overs. So I've got Baylor. I think Sora Robertson hasn't talked about enough. And then
Yeah, I agree.
finally, I've got Penn State minus 24 and a half going to UCLA, who is just a dumpster fire. And Penn State coming off a loss against Oregon. I think they're going to have a lot to prove to their fan base and everybody else. So they're going to be looking to put up points.
That's a good one. I like that one as well. Drew Aller's gotta figure it out, and that's a good opponent to come off Oregon with.
Yep. So I agree. Those are my three best bets. I think for this week, I'm going to be putting down those three, other than my picks that I have for these marquee games.
Yeah, man. Need these to hit. We need this reputation to just skyrocket.
Yep, I
I'm
agree. So
feeling confident.
I think we both are feeling confident. We talked earlier this week that we had some picks locked in early versus last week. It took it down to the wire a little bit, I know for me. So feel
Definitely.
good about our picks. If you guys feel good about our picks, feel free to tail. We're gonna be watching, sat on the couch all day Saturday, hoping that these work out. But I feel good. Feel good. Got some big spreads, got some good covers. So got a little bit of everything in this slate. Feel free to put your predictions down below if you're watching as well. If you agree or disagree with us, no matter what, we appreciate all of it. We appreciate all the comments down below.
Yeah.
So yeah, anybody who's listening, thank you guys once again. That'll conclude the Friday segment. We wish you guys the best of luck in whatever picks you're putting down this week. We support all the gamblers out there, whether you're riding or you're tailing or you're fading us. Do whatever you like. We just wish you the best of luck in that. So we will catch you guys again Tuesday to recap these games. Hopefully, another big week of college football. Appreciate you guys and see you.
See you in episode 5.